beat, they gon' play it on repeat. Cash 100 milli check, I get paid just to breathe. Kill it 24/7, cause I slay in my sleep. Flames pipe down when I enter in the convo.
Woo. Well, hello.
Okay, remember now, we're not here to judge anybody. We want to handle this with love, right? You want to tell him how his drug abuse has hurt you, maybe hurt himself. Okay, Harold, what time did you tell him to be here?
5 o'clock, but he's always late.
No, he'll be here. In 3, 2, 1.
Is this a 5 o'clock free crack giveaway?
Well, that is the MCU's Bleeding Edge there, guys. Welcome to the show. Woo! Woohoo! If you're just coming in and watch that, oh, how fun you have just had. Yes. Anyways, welcome to the MCU's Bleeding Edge, where we talk all kinds of cool Marvel stuff and all that kind of good stuff. Tonight we'll be reviewing the 5th episode of the MCU's newest TV series, Ms. Marvel. And we'll be talking a little bit about that and getting all into that stuff. So I like to go around the panel and introduce everyone. Of course, we have my faithful co-host, Mr. TrueKnowledge, in the house. Say hello, Jeff.
Hey, and I just want to mention really quick that, of course, I'm going to try to find that, that whatever that was, that dude or chick or whatever with the baby legs and shit and whatnot. that we got to have her on the show as a guest. Go ahead, Joe.
I'm pretty sure she was on, or he was on an episode of American Horror Stories. So, yeah, definitely was under the stairs, crawling out, grabbing ankles or something. I was a little nervous.
Well,
oh, yeah.
All I can say is that's a very interesting, whole operation that they got going on over there in that bathroom, man. I'm telling you.
Yes, they did. Interesting operation there. All kinds of different people there too, so that was quite fun. Anyways, so of course we also have returning to our panel a really great guest who is just awesome, amazing, and always fun to have on, Mr. Nate the Great. Say hello, Nate.
Hello everyone. This is it's been pretty long day, so it's just nice to come on and talk a little bit about the MCU and especially what went down on actually the episode that just came out today for Ms. Marvel episode 5. So
yes, thank you, great to have you, Nate. And of course, also returning, who has been here a couple times now and is awesome to have back, is Mr. Joe. Welcome, Mr. Joe.
What's up, everybody? It's time to get it on. I'm loving this Marvel. I'm digging all of this stuff. So I'm excited for another great show here on the Bleeding Edge.
Heck yeah, looking forward to talking about it. So this, to start us off, this was an interesting episode. I do have some thoughts on it, and I believe that for the 5th episode, which is going to be basically the second to last episode of this series, or this season, or how many seasons we're going to be getting, who knows. It was quite interesting how they decided to kind of play it out and kind of give us this kind of like, I don't know, I feel it was kind of off-the-wall episode, basically is what I got from this episode. It definitely wasn't your generic, type of like 5th episode type of deal, I felt. So I think it's going to be interesting to talk about this one and kind of like get all the roots out about it. So to start off this episode, we have kind of an interesting kind of reel that pops up. It's like old school, like video film of like a whole bunch of stuff going on. There was at one point, I believe Gandhi was in the picture. There was a whole bunch of kind of cool, like retro, cool looking movie style film going on. And I wanted to get the panel's thoughts on that to the introduction to this episode. Did you find it interesting? Was there anything that popped out to you guys? Did you think that was kind of a cool way to start the episode out? Starting with you, Nate.
Yeah, Andrew actually kind of brought up my point. He said it was a good flashback and exposition episode. Yeah, it was a good way to introduce, hey, how did this whole she disappeared, but now we know what happened, and the way they kind of introduced what was going on with all this stuff comparing to the regular world history was just awesome.
Thank you. Nice. Mr. TrueKnowledge, your thoughts, sir, on that beginning little intro there of the episode, showing that old school footage there that almost looks like an old school movie reel.
Well, I mean, honestly, I guess it was like cinematically pleasing or visually pleasing, but at the same time, honestly, I could have done without them having to like drag into the series the entire like Indian and Pakistan or whatever, or British, like, you know, deal back in the day. You know what I mean? Like the fact that they had to interject that into the series, I feel like honestly was a little bit of like a, especially how much they played it out, like, you know, into across the whole span of the episode. I just felt like, you know, I mean, really, like, look, in Falcon America, in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I understood the interjection of like racial stuff into the series and whatnot and everything, and I felt like they handled it the right way. I did. Like, I actually was in agreement that they did a good job with it for the most part. Maybe it was a little bit shitty here and there, but like for the most part, Alonzo Spellman did a pretty solid job with it, to where it was like, you know, tolerable. You know, and even maybe made some points that was like, you know, that were need to be made. But in this case, I feel like, look, you're already, you know, like remaking this character's entire, like, you know, powers and everything and whatnot, and her backstory of how she gets her powers. You're changing her comic book authenticity, you know, to begin with this character. She's a new character in the MCU. Just the fact that she's new and like young and everything and whatnot and fresh should have been enough. Like, they didn't need to like throw this whole dichotomy into the series, I think.
Yeah. And another thing too, is they're talking about how this whole thing about how, yeah, we got the independence from British and all this kind of stuff, but yet that's not really what she was running from. In that episode, she was actually running from, and I'm forgetting her name, even though she appeared in multiple episodes of this series. She was running from her.
Very true, Nate. Very true. Very true. Thank you for that, Jeff. Joe, your thoughts, sir?
So, okay. So in 1947 with the partition and all of that thing, I think that's one thing Marvel has tried, is to tie in the realisticness of Marvel and how they were here and actually tie it to real events in history, because the 1947 partition was a real thing. So I think that was their way of taking a real event in time and tying in this fictional character to make it more tangible and more real. And you know, that the ant in the gin that was chasing her, but that was part of it. I think she just used the partition to get out of Dodge and try to dodge the crazy lady. But I myself really enjoyed the tie-in together. I just think that making it more real and tangible makes things a little more believable, even though, you know, we're all in this crazy Marvel universe. But I think the more realistic and tangible it becomes, it's easier to become immersed in that character. So that's where I'm at on that one.
All right, thank you. Completely agree. I mean, I always say like I get that they like to interject things into entertainment to make people, think or to give them a little history knowledge. Yes, I get that. But my personal thoughts on entertainment is entertainment should be entertainment. It should be fun. It should be enjoyable. We don't always need that to be interjected. So I understand all parties, all parts like that. So I think that's really noble of everyone. Anyway, so moving on. So once we get past that, we kind of get this introduction to Isha. Now, Isha, as we come to know, is the great grandmother of Kamala. And basically, they give us kind of this backstory about, she's on the run, which we saw in a previous episode. They had found the bracelet. She had the bracelet and said, "Oh, I'm going to go this way. I'll meet you guys eventually." And basically, that's where it kind of takes us, this flashback thing, and shows us where she's actually gone. And she ends up over in that area of the world, and she ends up meeting her husband, which unfortunately his name, I forgot it. But I really enjoyed the guy that played the character. I thought he did a really good job. That he was really good, and I thought that it was kind of interesting, their relationship, how it began. She was on the run. At first she was kind of, rude to him, and that even though she was rude to him, he still took her in. And they kind of show them kind of their love blossoming. She ends up becoming pregnant, and we end up finding out that that's Kamala's grandmother. So once the grandmother is now like, I don't know, 6 or 7, I believe, by the time they kind of have this played out. And that's when this whole conflict between the two different types of Indians are happening. And, basically, all of a sudden out of nowhere, the aunt pops up. Oh, this is where you have gone. This is where you have popped up. And, basically, let's meet, let's rendezvous so you can give me the bracelet, basically. And she's like, "Oh, okay." And then she goes back and basically starts to like freak out and just says, "Let's leave. Let's go with this convoy that's going to be leaving to get out of here with this whole distraction that's going on." So they go towards that place. They're about to leave. And, they're about to experience another crazy situation. So before we get into that, so that little section of the episode, basically kind of getting to know who Isha is.
Your family take your meds if you haven't so far.
Yes, Siri.
Are we being invaded by the fucking? Are we being invaded by the Cylons?
I just took the Alexa out.
Anyways, so basically that section of the story showing Isha, getting to know her, and kind of how the grandmother comes to be, and her who the grandfather is, great grandfather, and all that kind of good stuff. What were your guys' thoughts on that whole little section? Leading up to leaving the country. Did you guys find anything interesting about it? Was there anything you noticed, or was there anything that you thought was good or bad about it? And did you feel it worked well with the episode? Starting with you, Jeff, Mr. True Knowledge.
Are you talking about the scene right after the intro?
Correct. When we get to know the great grandmother.
Okay, yeah, and her relationship with the guy and everything and whatnot, essentially. Yeah, I mean, I was confused a little bit at first. Of course, that was my initial reaction. Was that I wasn't sure exactly who was who and everything and whatnot, but in general, once I found my bearings with it and whatnot and everything and realized what the hell was going on, I thought that it was, I guess, interesting. I mean, that they decided to go in this direction with the episode, it was very surprising to me. It was not what I expected at all. It certainly wasn't what I thought they were going to do with episode 5. I figured if anything, and I want to shout out to Andrew Orozco really quick, from Geek News Now network, staff writer over there, who's been a frequent guest on the Bleeding Edge in the past and whatnot, and usually finds his way onto the weekend shows. What's up, Andrew? Appreciate you being here, brother. But I just was really surprised by the direction they went. I wasn't put off by it. It wasn't like It wasn't like with Moon Knight where I hated episode 5 almost, you know, and thought the finale was like, ugh, almost, you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't like that. It just was really kind of surprising to me because if anything, I didn't see them going like hardcore flashback with episode 5, you know, like, I mean, essentially isn't like the whole episode like one big flashback to some extent? Yeah. So, essentially, I guess I would just say that, it was an interesting twist for them to kind of go in that direction with things. I think that, obviously family is an important aspect of the series. You know, it is. It's a very integral part of the series. And so it makes sense, I guess, in a way that they would go that way, right? But at the same time,
Mom told you to go upstairs.
And that too. That's what I was gonna say. How do you know that?
I will go. We'll be right back.
Okay, Nate. So anyways, but bottom line, sorry about that. Nate's little brother stole my thunder. You know, I hate it when that happens, when like 10-year-old kids like you know, steal my thunder like that. But it's all good. But no, overall, I mean, I thought it was interesting. I guess again, just kind of surprised, and I'll talk more about this as we get farther into the episode itself. Just kind of surprised at the direction that they went in. And I'm really glad that this wasn't the finale. You know what I mean? That we still have one episode left for them to actually like continue on with the series and whatnot, the story. Because if this had been the finale and this is how they decided to close the series out, I would have been disappointed.
I totally agree. Yeah,
Totally.
That would have been.
I would have been really disappointed.
That would have been a weird way to end the series or this season 1 of that show. That would be definitely crazy.
Well, hey, you know what? But I mean, good job on them for doing. If they were going to squeeze this kind of thing in, I'm glad they threw it in episode 5, not in the finale. You know what I mean? Because like again, you know, it would have been really disappointing after Moon Knight to have another freaking series have a shitty finale.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. Joe, your thoughts, sir?
Okay, so this is the whole show so far has been all about family. It's been very, you know, from that she has to kind of not be in a enclosed life, but pretty enclosed compared to, you know, a lot of society. And now you got where it's just all tying in. And I think it all leads to the finale because, you know, now, if I'm understanding it right, doesn't that mean that Camilla and her family are all Jinn? Wouldn't that at some point of it? Because her great grandmother was supposed to go back to her people with the Jinn, and she's like, I'm going to stay here because I fell in love, and I love India. Ah, la la la. But you know, so I think it's going to tie into the fact that they're all part of this bad group, and that's going to be a huge part of this final finale. And I hope they don't crash and burn quite like Moon Knight did. I mean, I like Moon Knight, but it still left a little bit of disappointment there with some weird shit there. But I think this all ties into the same plan they've done the whole time. So I would definitely have been very disappointed if this was the season finale, because I think this was just it kind of, all these little shows are just introducing all these new characters out here. So they're the background. We're getting the background. We know about her great grandmother. We know about her grandmother. So I think it's part of the process that they're going for. And hopefully it don't burn at the end. I mean, I like it so far. It's a little, I'm still not impressed with the Jinn. They ain't done shit. You know, I got some neighborhood buddies that I grew up with that was way tougher than those people. So I a little not impressed, but I think it's all for the right direction. I think it's all going to tie in, and there's going to be a meaning. I think we're going to understand their powers a little more, because what's his name just got pretty much almost Miss Marvel powers, it looks like, a little bit. Whatever his name is. the girl or the dude she likes. I forget his name.
Yeah,
But I so it's, now they're Jen, they're all Jen. Who's bad? What side of bad are they? What's the whole thing? So
I rejected you, Nate. Nate thinks he's cool just because he's got access to the StreamYard and shit, so he can just come in and on the show whenever he wants to and everything and whatnot. So I had to slap him back real quick.
Well, welcome back,
agree,
Nate.
Andrew.
Hey, and just to be clear, Joe, I'm actually fucking Jin now. I'm Jin.
I could tell.
Yeah, I've now become
He's
Jin.
such a Jin. He's such a Jin.
I'm so into the Miss Marvel series and shit. It's impacted me so deeply and shit to my soul level and whatnot to where I've become Jin now. I decided.
Yeah, he's Jin. He's Jin.
That's right.
I mean, I'm pretty sure you got better superpowers than they do. So
I'm Jin. I'm Jin. I'm Jin, but I'm still a Sand People Tuscan translator.
Yep. Good point, Andrew. Yes, everyone would be part Daijin except for her dad. Yes, correct. Because all of them are part from the great grandmother. So yeah, most definitely.
I kind of want to see the mom use the powers from the thing.
If being Jin gets me my foursome with 3 chicks, I'll go Jin. I'll go Jin every day, baby.
No, it's not gonna work for you. Sorry, no. No, Daijin, no. You're more likely being a Tuscan translator is gonna get you that than being a Jin.
That's right. I'll tell you what.
you can have a foursome with sand people.
Hey, there you go. I was about to say, being a Tuscan translator is a real fucking important prestigious position. So of course, the ladies are lining up at that point. When you reach that level. But I'll be honest with you. I honestly don't know how looking forward to I would be doing a threesome or whatever with sand people. Honestly, I'm not really sure how that would go down.
That's some dusty
He would love
ass
it.
pussy.
He would love it. He would love it. He's lying. He knows he would love it.
Oh no, man, that'd be a lot of dust. Take your KY.
That's right. I'm telling you, the other day I was a part of this massive big sand people discussion that they were having amongst the tribe and shit. It was really intense, really impactful. It was hard for me to make out everything that I heard going on. But basically, it seems like what they were talking about for about 7 hours straight was essentially what type of lubrication could they possibly use for jerking off besides sand? Because the sand jerk deal is not working out for them overall. You know what I'm saying?
Because that spit's dry too. You'll be what the hell?
That's right. The other 6 hours of the tribe meeting and everything, it was very heated conversation. All boiled down to how they can figure out how to find some actual private space in the huts or whatever, the tents for guys to jerk in private and whatnot. When there's 37 motherfuckers in each hut.
It was always a circle jerk. It never mattered.
Well, I like what Tech just said in the comments. That Gappy stick has seen some things, so I would agree.
Probably better things than Boba Fett. Hey, shout out to Tex Not Dead. We missed you. It's good to see you. Tex actually reached out to me on the YouTube channel and actually let me know that they were going to be out of action in the comment section for a minute. I thought that was really awesome for somebody out there that supports us and whatnot like that to actually check in and let me know, hey, I'm not going to be in the comment section for a couple shows. So it's good to see you back, Tex.
Yeah, most definitely, Tex.
Tex.
All right, so Mr. Nate the Great, catch you up here a second. So we were just talking about kind of the whole little section of the episode showing Isha and kind of how her life has changed from, getting the husband to having the child. And we were going all the way up to the point right before they're going to get onto the train. So the question I was asking is, what were your thoughts on that whole little section of the episode? And was there anything that stood out to you? Was there anything you disliked or liked? Anything about that little section?
2 things. One, I feel like the whole reason why she changed like her thoughts on that, the whole hiding the thing and all that kind of stuff, is because she's found a family. She's really started to care more for the people for the earth. That's really how my perspective on it. And two, I have a theory that the people from that were introduced, the Red Dagger guys from episode 3, I feel like that they were founded by the I keep forgetting names for some reason.
We all do. It's all good.
What?
The great grandfather. I guess what I'm trying to say.
Huh?
Yeah.
Whatever you say, Nate. You lost me a while back, man.
Hot D.
I think the Red Daggers was founded by the great grandfather. I'm forgetting his name.
Oh, okay.
Oh, the guy with the limp?
Yeah.
Oh,
The
okay.
husband of Isha.
Yeah. Okay. I can see that.
That's an interesting idea. That's a great thought.
Yeah.
I didn't even think of that.
That's interesting. Yeah.
Anything else, Nate?
No, that's just those two things that just came up.
All right. Thank you. Great. All great. All great, guys. Very great. All right. So moving on. So now that section has happened, now we get to them fleeing, basically going to the train station. They're going to get on one of the trains that's about to leave. That's going on with the conflict that's going on. While they're there, they're going and they're fighting their way through the crowd and all that kind of good stuff. And all of a sudden, the Isha has kind of a feeling, and she starts telling the husband, "Okay, take," I forget the grandmother's name, but take our daughter and get on the train and make sure she has a great life and all this kind of good stuff, and make sure that she has, because basically I'm not going to be there, basically that's what she's basically saying. And so they have that conversation. He's like, "No, we need to stick together," and all this kind of good stuff. And she's like, I got to do this, blah, blah, blah. So basically she leaves it at that. She goes the other way. They keep traveling towards the train. And so she goes back there, and that's when she pops up into with the aunt again. And they're having a conversation, and out of nowhere, all of a sudden, the aunt stabs her. And you really don't see it. You just know that it happens because you see some blood on Isha's hands. And, basically, the daughter now has the bracelet, the amulet, or however you want to call it. And, basically leaves her there to die. And she ends up walking away, and you see this anger and disappointment on her face and all that kind of stuff as she's leaving. So as that happens, it goes back to the husband kind of talking and doing that kind of stuff and searching for the daughter, because the daughter kind of pops away, and we see her crying a little bit and stuff like that. And it goes back to Isha, and it shows her, and as she's kind of dying, she says some words, and that all of a sudden is when, boom, all of a sudden Kamala is there. So for all those out there, in the last episode we were theorizing, is it time travel? Is it going into the other dimension? It is time travel. So basically, we come now back to the present day where it left us off at the end of the 4th episode. So before we move on, let's talk a little bit about this. So what were your guys' thoughts on this whole section of the little thing, the conversation between the wife and husband, conversation between the aunt and Isha, and kind of, that whole rendition there, and then all of a sudden Kamala coming there. What were you guys' thoughts on that little section of the episode? Was there anything that stood out to you? Was there anything that you found interesting, you hated, you thought they could have done better, that kind of stuff? Starting with you, Joe.
I think this where they probably could have done a little bit better editing. I think it kind of dragged out a little bit. We kind of seen where it was going. It just, I don't know. This episode's been kind of on some of this aspect, at least for wow factor. And, I like it. I did enjoy it as far as the storytelling. I think, the scene served its purpose, and, and it's connecting the dots. How did she get, because that was the question for a lot of the seasons was, well, if she disappeared and she had the dongle or bongle, how did it get there? So now we know how it got there. We know what happened to great grandmother. We know how she got out with it. So it connects all those dots to kind of summarize and get into this last final finale in the next episode. So I feel like it did its purpose. I think it was what it was. It wasn't over the top, but as far as storytelling, it was cool.
Nice, thank you, Nate. Your thoughts, sir?
I feel like they killed a couple people off in this series way too early. They killed off Kamala's great grandmother way too early, I thought. Maybe they'd come up with some other creative idea instead of just killing her off. And then they killed off one of the Red Dagger guys in the last episode way too early. And that's my only complaint, really, with this whole series is that they keep killing people off way too early.
Totally. I agree. Yeah, I definitely thought we would have gotten more with the great grandmother than how they did it in this episode, most definitely. So I feel the same way, Nate. I think that we should have gotten more, just like with the last episode, the head, the red dragon or red whatever those guys were called. Dagger, thank you. Red Dagger guys. The head Red Dagger guy. We were talking about it before, we were thinking, oh, maybe he'll train Kamala more about this stuff. So I was hoping more from that character. So I totally agree, Nate. Definitely, I wish they had gotten more of him and more of Kamala's great grandmother. Jeff, your thoughts, sir?
Again, I found it confusing. You know what I mean? I did. It was sort of, it sort of really kind of stepped back away from the common story or the basic story that we've been working with so far through episodes 1 through 4, and went in a really different direction, by going back in time like that, and essentially dedicating all of this time to these activities and these actions or events that occurred 60 years ago or whatever. It was again interesting, definitely different, not what I expected, and it was worth watching as far as television goes or whatever. It wasn't terrible, but at the same time it wasn't exciting, or it didn't affect me at all or anything like that. It wasn't impactful to me. I didn't connect with it at all in any way. You know what I mean? Like I do on some other Marvel stuff. You know what I mean? So basically, I guess it was somewhat anticlimactic in a way to me, to tell you the truth. I was expecting more of a build-up in this episode. Heading somewhere, going in a direction where there was. I'm not saying there has to be a final battle or some shit in every Marvel thing or whatever. I don't think it has to be that way. Look at how they did Loki, right? There was no final battle. There was that final episode where there was I guess the showdown or whatever with He Who Remains, the Kang variant with Sylvie and Loki and that whole deal and everything and whatnot. And that was more conversational. You know what I mean? If anything, you know what I'm saying? And there was no final battle. There was not even a real true villain in the series, if you think about it. He Who Remains wasn't the villain. He wasn't the bad guy. He wanted to actually save the timeline and all that shit and whatnot. It was Sylvie that fucking killed him and ruined that shit. So I guess you could kind of say that the TVA was pretty shady and shit, right? But they weren't a villain, so I don't think you have to have I like to see Marvel go against that formula of having the one bad guy or whatever, like they did in Moon Knight, kind of like quasi, with the Barrow character. But I suppose that for me personally, as a Miss Marvel fan, I would have liked to have seen more like Miss Marvel, Kamala Khan, like in present day, like in Jersey, like fighting some criminals or something, you know what I mean, or whatever, or I don't know, fighting damage control or some shit. I would like that better, maybe, but again, it wasn't bad or anything like that and whatnot. It just wasn't really what I expected.
Gotcha. Yeah, I agree. I think I definitely think that there could have been more to this episode. It could have been a little better. It couldn't be. It just seemed a little discombobulated a little bit at times. So yeah, I can definitely see how that could come across like that. Most definitely. So thank you, all of you. Great answers. Great answers. All right.
And you know what? Tex is right as far as the villains feel poorly written and thrown in just to have Kamala fight someone. I don't know if I would agree with that word for word, but like, they still have not even explained to us what damage control's purpose is. Like, what are they trying to do? You know what I mean? Like, what is their goal? Who runs it? Like, they're giving us very limited information to work with damage control, which is starting to piss me off. I would like to know more about what the hell's going on there. I hope that that's going to be all like illuminated for us in the finale. But as far as the Jinn go, as like, I guess like, as villains or whatever. I mean, I do think that some of them look pretty, they do look like they have some powers. Like they look like some of them have super strength and like, durability and shit like that and whatnot. So they're somewhat hardcore, but they're like just a step above like the tracksuit mafia.
Yep. So agree. All right. So once Kamala has all of a sudden popped up finally in the episode and we're back at current times, she actually goes over to her great-grandmother and has a brief conversation with her before she passes away. And basically, how it goes, my daughter's safe. And basically that's what it comes to. And so after she passes and after her having that conversation with her, she goes and she finds the little girl to help her find her dad. And she ends up helping her grandmother find her great-grandfather, and they get onto the train and they leave. And so now the grandmother is safe and fine and is able to grow up to be the grandmother she is. After that happens, all of a sudden she comes back to where we were left after the aunt had stabbed the bracelet, and back to that room where they were fighting with the Red Daggers and all those Daijin people. And basically, all of a sudden, this giant wormhole opens up, or tear in the fabric. Who knows what it was? It was some sort of dimensional crack, basically, in the.
Reminds me way too much of Doctor Who, by the way.
It does a little bit, doesn't it? And basically, one of the Daijin walk over to it, and all of a sudden turns into this like purple mass, and then disintegrates and basically is a skeleton and has it looks like she has died. And so basically, she's like talking to the aunt saying, you need to help me to close this so we can stop this, so that more people blah blah blah, and this isn't working, all that kind of stuff. And basically they have kind of an interchange, and she says that, and she's like, well, what about your son? You're just gonna leave your son? And she's like, yes, I left my son, and all this kind of stuff. And just they kind of have this kind of interesting dynamic of everything that's kind of happened in the last couple episodes. And she's like, I'll take care of it. And so she goes over to it and she utters some words. And all of a sudden it goes, after she says those words, she turns into that purple, like rock looking stuff, and then disintegrates too. And all of a sudden we go back and it shows the sun, and all of a sudden he gets zapped by some presence or something. And basically gives him like the same powers that Kamala has, basically. So that little section of the episode, which I found this to be my most favorite part of the episode. I really enjoyed it. That was interesting. Once again, going back to what Nate was saying, they killed off people really quickly. This is another example of that, I feel.
Yeah.
I was really surprised that they had the aunt just all of a sudden do this and she's dead. And we don't. Maybe she's not dead. Maybe she is. I don't know. But I think this whole section was really fun. I liked it that we finally got back to kind of the present and that we're dealing with the basically the consequences that were going on in that room. So my question for you guys is, what were your thoughts on this? Did you feel it was was good entertainment? Did you find it interesting? Do you think it was unnecessary? Was there anything that you found interesting about it or disliked about it? And just your overall thoughts on that little section of the episode. Starting with you, Jeff.
Can you just really quickly, can you give me like a quick Cliff Notes version of that?
Portal. Aunt dies.
Got you. Okay. So again, confusing for me. I was kind of confused, things were moving on and whatnot and everything. I started to recognize some of the characters and realize that they're people I'd seen before and whatnot and everything. The portal, just so I understand correctly, right? Was that the portal that the Jinn always wanted to create or whatever to bring back their world?
We don't know. We don't know exactly if that was the portal they were looking for, but they seem to think it was. But they don't specifically say that that's what it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what created it? Why did it occur?
I think because when she stabbed the bracelet and Kamala went back in time, I think it all was just that whole motion going on. It was from that being stabbed and then from the aunt and from the great-grandmother saying those words. I think it just all coincided with each other. And that's what caused it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So basically, I was confused by like a lot of it. I wasn't really sure what the hell was going on. There's some crazy feedback in the background, man. Like I could really feel it. It sounds like feedback. But what do you call it? Essentially, I mean, I don't really have anything to really like take from it, to tell you the truth. Are we going as far as when what's her name? I guess like the head of the Jinn like jumped into the portal or whatever to close it or whatever?
Yes.
Okay. That I thought was cool, that she finally like actually cared about her son Cameron or whatever again and whatnot and everything, and that she actually, I mean, she sacrificed herself essentially, didn't she, to like close the portal? So that was cool. I dug that. Like that was a highlight of the episode, I'm glad that it went in that direction and that she went back and actually cared about Cameron again, but that's pretty much it.
Was she really caring, or was she like? Because it seemed like I'm gonna do what I should have done from the get, and all of a sudden, all her power, and other people's power, goes into her son. So is that a good thing, or did she just get him a little double dose of some bad?
That I'm kind of curious that maybe that Kamran and her mom maybe is Jinn, yes, but a little bit more. Maybe like there's some other race out there, other dimension that she is. Because how did they get that? How did she get that power? Because they don't show her at all touching the bracelet. They don't show Kamran touching the bracelet at all. So maybe that maybe she might be Jinn, but maybe she's something else.
Well, I mean, I think we've established at this point that it's pretty obvious that wherever the Jinn came from, whatever dimension they're from, they have powers. I mean, look, they have this longevity, right? Like they look youthful for like centuries, for decades and shit.
Yeah, they're immortal.
Yeah, I mean, they look like they're superhuman, like they're enhanced, some of them, so at that point, of course, we can speculate as to the origins of that power and whatnot and everything, but I wouldn't be surprised if it probably potentially comes from something negative, something bad, like something related to like black magic, or like, you know, something akin to like the Darkhold type shit.
You know, here's my prediction. For Kamran, he got his powers after his mom died. I'm wondering, what if his mom got her powers because maybe her father or her mother, or maybe both, or one of the two, died and got the powers from them.
Okay.
And that could have been like the activating thing, like just like with the whole bracelet idea. She put on the bracelet, which activated her powers.
Yeah.
Possibly. I mean, she did utter words, so I'm thinking that those words are why they transferred those powers transferred to the sun.
Or maybe
So
the bracelet fucking works on the Jinn.
maybe.
So maybe any of the Jinn could put it on as long as they're Jinn.
Possibly.
That's true.
Possibly, yeah.
I don't know. Just throw them out there, boys.
Throw it out there. Yeah. All right. Joe, your thoughts, sir, on that scene?
I thought it was definitely the best part of the whole episode. I almost wonder if they all kind of absorb into each other. I don't know. I thought it was cool. I'm interested to see what Kamran actually gets from it, because I feel like they all seem to be a little evil, you know, and he was kind of the really good kid out of this group of bad guys. And now I think he's going to flip. I think he's going to end up being the bad guy now because of whatever he just absorbed from his aunt or mom and their in-laws or whatever weird family tree they got going on.
maybe he's the villain of the Miss Marvels, the Marvels.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd be interested to see where they take him. That'll be, you know, somebody else was talking about how they were killing off people a lot pretty fast, so that could be something else with Cameron or something like that. That's, you know, should be leading into a bigger character, but you know, I don't know. I'm not sure where they're going to take it.
Yeah, true. Very true.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But I enjoyed it.
Me too. Nate, your thoughts, sir?
I already said mine with the whole, what if she
Okay.
what if they activate powers because of the death?
No other thoughts? That's it?
No, that was it.
All right. Okay. Thank you. Very, very precise.
Nate, what do you think about this official report that they're going to replace Brie Larson as Captain Marvel with her butt double?
I have a very different opinion about Brie Larson playing Captain Marvel than you do, Jeff.
Well, I just want to know this. What the hell do you say to somebody? What do you say to an actress, right, on a film when, like, you've got to let them know that you're going to, like, be replacing them in scenes with a butt double? Like, what do you say? How do you tell them that?
Just do like what Vince McMahon does every time he releases a manager, SmackDown or Raw. You're fired. Oh, sorry, I was kidding. I don't
know. Like what? Your butt looks so great that like we've got to like replace you with somebody else for your scenes? Like it's too hot or some shit? I mean, that's got to be rough, man. I'm telling you right now. I would hate to have to be that guy.
Super rough. Super rough. All right. Awesome. Thanks, guys. All right. I want to thank Andrew for being in the comments over here. Thank you very much, sir. And Tech's Not Dead. Mr. Andrew has made some very good points. Thank you very much for those. Just wanted to throw a shout out to you guys. Anyways, so basically we leave off the son, Cameron, now has powers. After it shows him get the powers, basically all of a sudden it goes to Bruno. And he's back at the Circle Q. instead of the Circle K, because they couldn't use Circle K because I'm sure they would have had to pay to use the title, but it's pretty much I think a Circle K. Anyways, so he's back at the Circle K, he's taking out some trash, and all of a sudden Cameron pops up. He's like, oh, and basically he's like, I need help. He's like, okay, so they go back up to his apartment, Bruno's apartment, and they're having their conversation and stuff like that, and basically, you could stay here the night, and then we can figure out where to take it. And he's like, oh, but I need to stay here so my mom can find me. And he's like, are you sure your mom's gonna, basically blah blah blah. And then all of a sudden, out the window, all of a sudden a drone pops up, and is like, oh no, they found me. And basically, Cameron uses the powers and basically blows up the underneath of the Circle K or Circle Q, and basically that's where it leaves it off, and then all of a sudden it ends. So, what were your guys' thoughts on how this episode ended? Did you like how it ended? Did you hate how it ended? Do you feel it's like it's a cliffhanger, or do you feel like they could have done some more to it? Did you feel that the conversation between Bruno and Cameron was an interesting conversation? What was your final thoughts on the end of the episode? Starting with you, Nate.
Two things. One, I'm kind of shocked that Bruno is. I'm kind of shocked that Bruno was shocked that Cameron has powers, because Kamala mentioned that to Bruno that he's Jen. And then two, I thought it did leave as a cliffhanger, because who was activating the drone? I mean, the only thing that I could possibly think about is was that Bureau organization from episode 2,
Damage control or damage, whatever.
DOD.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also in Spider-Man No Way Home. Yeah, as well. So that's literally the only thing I can think of. So
awesome.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Jeff, any thoughts around the final part of the episode?
Yeah, you know what? I thought that was I liked it. That was cool. Now, I dug that. Like, that was a good direction and everything and whatnot. That got me back into the show again, back into the episode again. And it set things up for episode 6 in a positive direction. You know what I mean? Like, giving us with something to work with, a kind of, just to elevate things a little bit, with some of the things that we worked with in the beginning of the episode. I felt like it took things into an interesting direction. And left us with questions, and of course we know for a fact that, like, there's no way that Bruno and what's his name, Cameron didn't survive the blast, right? They're not going to die, but what I'm wondering is it possible that we might get like a guest appearance of some other Marvel character potentially in the finale, like some other superhero or something like that, or whatever, or somebody like from Sword or some shit, or like, you know what I'm saying, like someone that we know, maybe Vale, who knows? Like, I've got a small feeling, like a small inkling that, like, you never know, like they may throw somebody in there, just for the name recognition or whatever, and cross somebody over potentially into the series in the finale. Of course, it would make no sense for Captain Marvel to show up or whatever. Captain Marvel doesn't know who the hell Kamala Khan is. We'll see how they're going to make it all work with the Marvels, how that's all going to fit together. Monica Rambeau with Captain Marvel with Miss Marvel, I guess, is a trio. But I liked it. I thought it was really cool. It creates a lot of like speculation, and I think that it's going to be a lot of fun and like very entertaining to see finally some like actual like legit information about what the hell is going on with damage control.
Most definitely. Yeah, it'll be nice to see. Hopefully they wrap some good stuff up with damage control and what they're all about, what's going on with them and stuff like that. it'll be nice to eventually see, hopefully get to see more of Sword eventually in further projects. That'll be nice too. I mean, you mentioning, about seeing a person come at the end of this next episode. Maybe it's Monica Rambeau. You never know, because she is going to be a part of the Marvels. So it'll be interesting to see just what they do. If we get to see Monica, or if we get to see, Captain Marvel, or if we get to see Val or somebody like that we've already seen. Maybe even, Samuel L. Jackson as Nick Fury, maybe. Who knows, But that would be really cool. Hopefully they'll do something like that to basically coincide and lead into why Miss Marvel becomes a part of the film The Marvel. So hopefully they do something good and make it a really good finale.
I see it. I think they're going to do something. I do, Cyber. I think there's going to be a twist. They're going to throw something in there at the last minute, like they just kind of partly just for fan service, probably. If anything, and like you said, to establish a connection with the Marvels, so that there's actually some kind of legitimate step or whatever, where there's a connection there. But
Monica Rambeau is the only person I could see making an appearance in that film.
Well, I don't.
That
No, I agree, Nate. It would make no sense for Vale to pop up, but Vale's due to pop up in something. You know what I'm saying? Like, if she's going to be the character that I think she's going to be in, that Kevin Feige says she's going to be in the MCU, she's due to pop up in something soon.
There's one other person I could see, but she, as far as we know, she doesn't have a role in Miss Marvel's, but she did, however, have a role in WandaVision. That Darcy person from WandaVision, I could see her maybe pop up, but Monica Rambeau is more likely than Darcy.
Probably, yeah.
Or maybe Gyno Man could appear in the finale, and Gyno Man could be there.
No kidding.
I could see a Samuel Jackson. I could see some connection, because we haven't seen a lot of Sword. We haven't heard anything else. Supposedly he was out in space, but
because he's out of space, I can't.
But he might send the Creel version of him. Might send them over to talk to him or something. Some weird connection.
Oh, we're gonna get plenty of Nick Fury, Joe. Don't worry. When they do the Secret Wars Disney Plus series and whatnot, and then they do the Marvels, he's gonna be all over both of that shit.
Yeah.
100%. All right, Joe, your thoughts, sir.
Okay, so I kind of the end of this episode. I almost question that he's showing up at Bruno's without knowing he was followed. I feel like he brought him there. He didn't act surprised, and he used his powers real, like he had a little bit of practice. He looked pretty sharp for just getting a new power. Because if you go back episodes, it wasn't like Camilla just jumped up and was doing great. She had to work on it. He went from bam to wham, I'm shooting shit. I think that's a little bit of a setup to bring some heat their direction.
Well, you know what, Joe? Maybe the kind of heat that Cameron wants to bring is some I'm in the closet heat. You know what I'm saying? Like half in the closet type shit.
It probably does. At their local circle jerks, they have little conversations about it. Their networking is really weird, man. I don't want no part of it. But no, I think it is leading into a finale. I think it's just the taste of what he's going to be. I think he's gonna, he's just wiggling in to fulfill his mom's destiny or whatever. I think sent a little bit of possession to him or something. I'm not sure. Genies in a bottle. They all go together. But I think it's going to lead to a great finale. I do believe I think we'll probably get a Rambo. And or Samuel Jackson would be my guess, just because it's been a minute, and he could be the middleman. I got a mission for you.
Maybe the powers that the mother gave him actually will make him like a Miss Cleo, like a quasi Miss Cleo, so like a male.
You better talk to my psychic friend, man.
Interesting thought there, Jeffrey. Anyways, anything else, Joe, or was that pretty much it?
I think it's pretty much. I'm excited to see what they do because this is leading into the next series of the Marvels, the Fantastic Four. They're putting out little things to connect everywhere. So I'm excited to see what they drop.
Oh, geez, what? Oh shit, the Fantastic Four. What's that?
What? But no, I'm excited.
It's having a mental collapse.
I'm just playing. I just think it's funny because it's just funny to me just thinking about all the fans that are so worried about Marvel Studios and so worried about where things are going and everything and whatnot. It's you know what, motherfuckers? The Fantastic Four is coming out soon, dude. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Just chill.
True.
Yeah, Thor's gonna be badass. I'm excited about that. That's gonna be awesome.
And that's a good segue, Joe. I think that's the direction we're about to be going in.
So
it comes out what, tomorrow?
Yep.
Yes.
So that is the end of the episode 5 of Miss Marvel. To close out the show, I'm going to be throwing it over to my co-host, Mr. Jeff, and we're going to be talking a little bit about Thor 4 to get you ready to go see it.
Let's do this Avengers, this new Avengers clip first, and then we can talk about that for a minute, and then I'll drop that newer Thor 4 trailer.
Friday? Our airspace has been breached. Punch up the top deck feed. Dispatching and cams. Tilt up. Is that?
Captain America! Sam! Captain Falcon! Captain, what do I call you now? Sam works. Call me Cap. How's the cushy cruise gig going? Try the chicken tenders. They'll change your life.
What are you doing all the way over?
We're headed back to base and we noticed a spike in high energy levels at your location. Red Wing, give us a bird's eye view.
They look like
Flying robots.
analyzing. Ultron, an android obsessed with destroying the Avengers and wiping out all of mankind.
He must be here for the quantum course. Well, he sure isn't here for the chicken tenders. And later, we're going to have a serious talk about bringing quantum tech to a cruise ship. Look at this crowd. You try keeping their attention. But look, that guy's still eating.
We've got to defend the course.
The kid and I'll hold them all while you do it. Kid?
Miss Marvel is teaming up with the Star Spangled Man with a plan against the metal nerds. Throw down on the high seas, baby. Shoot. Hi, Captain.
At ease. I mean, take it easy. And what did I say about the boat captain jokes?
That I should make them at every chance I get.
Just stay sharp and watch it.
Oh my gosh!
Oh, what? What is it?
The water slide is sick! Like good sick, not like seasick kind of sick, which I'm totally feeling right now. Oh, I mentioned I've never been on a cruise ship before.
Young lady, we have to work on your focus. Your focus. You're an Avenger now.
Huh?
In training.
Wait, do I have full credit? Is there like a special pass or a uniform or something? Oh my god.
And no fangirling.
Oh, fangirling right now. That's kind of easy.
You know what happens to people in movies that say that, right? Oh, I need backup.
On my way, Cap. Get that regulator fixed.
Promise it'll work. Come on.
Secure the brakes, kid. Okay. Let's tell later.
Ah, so this is where they keep the children.
That's a weird opening line. Think fast!
Seriously?
Yeah, I didn't do anything.
Oh, get out of my way!
Watch my six!
Getting a little crowded up here! What's the play?
Hang tight! Contingency plans on the way.
Funny who you run into on a cruise. Welcome to the party, Carol. Hey, Hope. Sam. Give me a second.
Show off.
At the rate you were going, you would have been here all night.
You know, you could have paced things out, give the folks a little bit more of a show.
Nah, I think they're ready for dessert. And I've got a date with some Kree missiles on the other side of the galaxy.
Have fun with your space stuff, and thanks for the assist, Hammers.
You're welcome, Cap. Oh my god, is that Captain Marvel? Just go binary.
What is that?
Photon blast?
I don't know what those are.
Came in totally clutch, didn't she?
I...
Classic Captain Marvel.
Hope!
Scar.
Shield barrier activated.
Look, hypothetically, let's say that Ultron absorbed the regulator. Can I weaponize the quantum cores to target him?
Technically, yeah.
So, okay, Cyber, what do you think of that shit, man?
It makes me think of all the rides at like Disneyland, Disney World that they do for those things. It made me think of Honey, I Shrunk the Audience and stuff like that. It gave me that kind of vibe. I mean, it was pretty tech, high tech for what it is. But there definitely was. It was very still hokey and like how they make those, like live things for the audiences and stuff like that. I was happy to see that Danvers had her normal hair again, not that stupid ass haircut they gave her in Endgame.
I think I know why they did that though, but that's for another show.
Yeah. And so that was nice to see that. And I also thought that I was surprised to see Hope Van Dyne there. I was really surprised to see Evangeline Lilly in that, especially with all the heat she's gotten recently. But overall, I thought it was fun. I thought it was interesting. That'd be cool to see on a cruise, I think. And it looked like it was pretty fun. But yeah, it sucked that it didn't have James Spader doing Ultron's voice again. That was kind of dumb.
Yeah, I think that was probably that same guy that that voiced him in the What If series potentially.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't Spader, you could tell. But no, I mean, I don't know. I mean, hey, I just love seeing Sam Wilson Captain America. I don't care what it is. Like, I just like seeing it. What do you think, Joe?
I thought that was cool. It definitely had kind of the Universal Studios Spider-Man ride kind of 3D adventure kind of situation. I felt I thought it did look pretty neat for what it was. It was cool. It'd be neat to see that, start seeing all these characters start somehow falling together. We're going to have several rows of movies before it quite get there, but
I mean, is that an Avengers team that you want to see? Like, if that's part of like
but I'm more like, if World War Hulk is real, like that'd be where I'm at. The Captain Marvel, she was cool, whatever. It's neat seeing Sam as the Captain Falcon, Cap, whatever they're going to call him, flying Captain America.
He's Cap. No, he's Captain America, man. He's Cap.
Oh, I know. I'm just talking shit. But I like seeing the different combinations. But it's still they're gonna have to still grow these characters. I think Avengers work so well because we had the meat of all the superheroes. There's other characters, and if you're hardcore, you do know that. but there's a lot of the society that watches this stuff that don't know those characters. But you know Thor, Hulk, Captain America, Spider-Man, you know those guys. So, you know, we had that. So they're going to have to grow these characters and turn these newer characters into Thors and gods and Hulks and make them, you know, so I think it's cool, but they need to approach it right. You know, I think no matter what, Marvel's going to be killing it. You know, depending on different directions they take, they're doing so well at spreading out all the characters. But, you know, for, you know, how big Endgame was and all that, you had a very meaty assortment of big level characters. Now you got some of the other characters you're going to have to try to put to that standard. So
okay, Nate, what do you think, brother? Is that an Avengers team that you like? That you'd like to see?
Yeah, I wouldn't. If they do some sort of like big Avengers threat, I wouldn't mind seeing that team plus more people. But those by itself, nah, not really.
Okay.
I mean, you put Ant-Man, Wasp, and you know Captain Falcon. I could see a storyline where that happens, but adding Miss Marvel and adding Captain Marvel, nah, no.
Well, there's no way around the fact that Captain Marvel's going to be on the next Avengers team. That's pretty much just a done deal. There's no way to make that not happen at this point. I don't think. She's going to be there, and you know, and we're going to have to hope for the best. But is it at least kind of interesting at all for you, Nate, to see, for instance, to see Sam Wilson, Captain America, like that again? You know, after Falcon
cool.
and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah, that was cool. Also, I think there were some lines that in that clip that kind of made me laugh. Ultron, when he said, "So this is where they keep all the children."
Well, you know what? Honestly, and we were talking about this on the weekend. Me and Renee, Loki's mom, on one of the weekend shows. The fact that we were covering an article that was listing like all of the best Phase 4 villains, and they actually had Ultron from the What If Disney Plus series as like number 2, like at the number 2, the best villain of Phase 4. I got to tell you right now, for me with What If, other than the zombie episode, those Ultron episodes at the end of the series is what overall made me like the series. It did, you know. I felt like that ultimate Ultron character, like villain, like really like was effective. And I don't know about y'all, but
I just want to
go ahead, Nate.
Real quick.
Go ahead, Nate.
Andrew says, "Oh, come on, Kamala is great. She is enduring and authentic. Ability starstruck, sure, but she feels stretched." That is not what I'm saying. All I'm saying is I don't really see how they could put a Sam Wilson, Captain America, Falcon guy with Ant-Man, Wasp, and then all of a sudden you have both the Marvels in that storyline. I just don't see where that could all fit. I'm nothing to do with the characters themselves. I'm just saying that storyline wise, I don't see it.
I don't either. I would agree with you. I don't think it would make any sense either. But Andrew also pointed out that it made me want the MCU to bring back Ultron. He was an intimidating villain. He was an intimidating fucking villain, man. Ultron was a badass villain in Age of Ultron. You know, Age of Ultron is an underrated movie. It is. I'm telling you right now. I don't care what anybody says. It's a very underrated film. Yeah. It's a good damn movie. It's still very watchable. And James Spader Ultron was fucking awesome. So, any last thoughts, guys, before we move on to Thor 4? Any last thoughts on this whole Disney Cruise video deal we just watched?
Yeah.
No?
Hey, man, real quick. I hate to cut out. I got to go be a dad for a minute.
You're good, Joe.
Hey, guys, thanks for having me on for another great show. Man, I'll see you guys soon. Make sure you guys check me out on Monday Love, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every Monday night, streaming from all podcasts on all platforms. see your top recording artist. Then Boss Dog show's coming. Joe and Dave, so much more. Thanks again for having me on the Bleeding Edge.
That's
guys.
right.
See you guys next week for the
You better-
finale. Hey, and we got Thor to talk about, so I'll grab you somewhere in the middle.
Hey, you better make sure that you get me and Cyberneticshark over there and Nate over there on some of those shows that you got going on.
Absolutely.
And put us in the mix.
Let's do it.
And if you want a spot on the finale for the finale show, just let me know and I'll put you on.
Absolutely. Let's
All right,
rock
brother.
it.
Thank you,
I'll
Joe.
see you guys soon, man. Later.
You too.
Take care.
See you guys.
All right. Exit Joe and on to Thor 4.
So, Warner Roberts bought the puppet behind my house getting his head dick sucked. You do know I live here, right?
She said the house was empty. I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought my friend
She thought her friend was.
That didn't look like Thor 4 to me.
Hey, she thought her friend was over there, man. You know what I'm saying? That's why she was over there bent over with that dude like that. She thought her friend was there.
Okay.
That excuse really made a lot of sense. That was very logical. You know, I'm telling you right now.
You're in the Shadow Realm.
How'd you know?
The atmosphere there has a darkness like no other. It's as if color fears to tread. It's unmistakable.
Well, then, if it's color we need, let's bring the rainbow.
The only ones who gods care about is themselves.
So this is my vow.
All gods will die.
Mjolnir!
So that's the ex-girlfriend, is it?
What's it been, like 3-4 years?
8 years, 7 months, and 6 days, give or take.
You are not like the other gods of Kiln.
Just my first bad guy.
Never forget your first. I want to choose my own path. My superheroing days are over.
Remember what I told you? You ever feel lost? Just look into the eyes of the people that you love.
There you go. There you go. There you go. So, all right. So, real quick, Nate, what do you think? Thor 4. What'd you think of the final trailer for Thor 4? Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, I have a prediction actually. I think that Thor is after this series, after this show's over, movie's over, I think he is done having the Thor mantle with the hammer and all that kind of stuff, and then he takes over and becomes more of a guardian, if that makes sense. For Guardians, with all the Guardians of the Galaxy, he's going to be in more Guardians of the Galaxy films.
Okay.
Okay. Well,
interesting theory.
I don't know about that, Nate. I think Guardians of the Galaxy is done.
I think it's going to be like, I know, Cyberneticshark. And I'm going to ask you this question because I don't think Jeff has. But have you seen Legends of Tomorrow?
Yes.
I think it's going to be more like Legends of Tomorrow where they change some of the characters. Maybe the story, by the end of Legends of Tomorrow, the only character that stayed on that show the entire time was Sarah Lance.
Yep.
I think it's going to be more like that for Guardians of the Galaxy. That's just my theory.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, Guardians of the Galaxy is not over. Just this iteration is. This is the last time I think we'll be seeing the Star-Lord, Gamora, Nebula, Drax, stuff like that, Groot, Rocket. I think this is the last film we'll be seeing any of them in. I definitely feel that Adam Warlock is going to be kind of the new beginning of the new Guardians. And, I mean, that's a good theory. Thor could become a part of that. I mean, Chris Hemsworth has said that he'll keep playing Thor as long as they want him to. So I don't think this is the last Thor film either. I think we'll be seeing more of him. I think definitely we'll see him. Maybe they'll end up doing it as Guardians of the Galaxy. Who knows? But yeah, I definitely agree there that Thor is going to be around for a while.
Yeah, that I definitely agree with. That Cyber, I'm on the same page with you. I see Thor sticking around, and I just don't know if like the Guardians of the Galaxy is going to be the vehicle. But you never know, Nate. You could be correct. I mean, it's obvious that essentially, like, if they're going to do anything else with the Thor franchise at all, if they're going to make another Thor film or whatever, it's not going to be with Chris Hemsworth.
I don't. Yeah, I agree.
So, is it going to be Jane Foster? Is she gonna stick in the MCU or whatever? I don't know. But Cyber, what do you think of the trailer itself?
I liked it. That was a really good final trailer. I love that they showed some Celestials in this trailer. That was really cool. I did not realize the Celestials would be in this film. You got a good glimpse of them towards the end of the trailer. So that piques my interest a lot. That maybe even the Eternals might make an appearance or talk of them maybe a little bit, especially with Gore. I mean, I definitely a lot of people have been saying that, the MCU is going towards a new big baddie, and, Galactus is kind of that what everyone keeps talking about. And with seeing the Celestials a lot more, I have a feeling that we're going to be seeing Galactus very soon. I think Galactus is going to be a part of the Fantastic Four, honestly. I think even if he's not the main villain, I still think in that film we'll get Galactus and that he'll be a part of it. I definitely feel that, how they're taking this film just from this trailer too is definitely, making it more about space again. Because I feel like when Guardians finally came out and then we got Captain Marvel, those two films I would say the first two Guardians and then Captain Marvel coming out, those three films all together was really about space a lot more versus what we were used to with like the Avengers and all the other previous films. So I still think there's a lot to explore in the space element of Marvel. And I think that's kind of where Marvel's kind of taken it more too. And I feel this film's kind of a vehicle towards that as well, from what I got from the trailer.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think that we were supposed to be getting more of a cosmic leap, right? With the MCU. And I feel like we haven't quite yet got to that point, like we're not quite there still. Maybe, things like the Guardians of the Galaxy, 3 coming out and Adam Warlock being introduced, like you mentioned earlier, Cyber. Maybe that will be, and like Nova coming out, however they're going to do that, whether it's going to be a Disney Plus series or a film or however they're going to do Nova, but they're going to do Nova. We know that. So that could definitely be a step in that direction. So what is everybody's plans for Thor 4? I mean, I don't know about y'all. I'm not even sure I'm not sure if I'm going to go tomorrow night or not. I haven't really decided yet. Cyber, we got to decide when we're going to do our Thor 4 review.
Since last week tomorrow, but yeah, I'll probably be able to watch it.
Well, next week is the finale of Ms. Marvel, so we'll probably do it the following week or on a Friday show.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Maybe a Friday show would probably be perfect.
Yep.
That would give us a really great topic to work with.
Yep.
But are you who's actually going to see it tomorrow? You are?
I'll be seeing it twice.
Oh, really? Did you already get tickets?
my theater, you can always get tickets.
Mine too. What about you, Nate? Are your theaters packed for like the movies when you go to see them?
Probably at first, like maybe the first day or two, couple of days, because especially when it comes out. But our town's really not like New York City. It's not really like packed at all. So I mean, yeah, you can always buy tickets.
Yeah, I mean, I never have any problems at my theater either, at my Regal. I mean, shit. I wouldn't be surprised if I probably will end up going to see it tomorrow, and I'll be surprised if there's like 15 or 20 people in the theater. We'll see, if that, but we'll see what happens.
I won't be able to watch it tomorrow because I've got school and things like that. But yeah, I probably be able to watch it soon.
Well, either way, Nate, it was really nice of you to come on the show tonight with us, brother. It was good to see you again.
And I finished my essay while doing the show.
That's awesome. Good multitasking. And it's always good. And it's always good to have Nate the Great on here. You know what? If not for Nate, we never would have ended up on the Minds Creativity Network, and I never would have ended up partnering with Jay over at ASAP Sports and actually getting lucky enough to be put into the vice president position of the Minds Creativity Network that we are soon to be launched. And who the fuck knows what could happen then, man? Shit could get really interesting. When you've got like TrueKnowledge running a freaking content network, shit can get interesting, man. I can tell you that right now. I'm not gonna be playing any games, I can tell you that. But no, either way, we are a featured creator with the Minds Creativity Network and happy to be there. The Minds Creativity Network, although not officially launched, already has a YouTube channel. And we almost have 170 subscribers on it, just based off of our content and the Geek Gauntlet podcast content and Nate's content. So that's pretty damn good for 2 months on YouTube, I think. And shout out to all of our supporters out there on YouTube for helping us get close to 2 grand subs. Get us over to the top, baby. I've been looking at our analytics lately, and you guys are doing a great job watching our shows. But the only problem is you're not all subscribing when you're coming on. And we can really use that. You know, like if you're going to watch the show, come on, just subscribe real quick. It only takes a second. You know what I mean? And me and Cyber want to hit 2,000, man. You know, so hey, come on now. You know, and a like here and there is always appreciated.
All it takes is one.
That's right. Just one little click. Beep. And a little like here and there is nice too, and ring the bell and all that. And we'll all be square at the end of the day, right?
Hey, thank you to Andrew because he has a like on the Facebook side.
That's right. And thank you for Andrew for being in the comment section. Andrew is a good friend of ours over here at the Bleeding Edge. And it's always good to talk to him and always good to have him on the show. But basically, folks, I think we're going to go ahead and take it out from there. I don't think we need to do any plugs tonight and whatnot. We can just get out of here clean and try to see if we can give the rest of our team here the rest of the night off. So for Cyberneticshark, the veteran,
check out my solo content.
That's right, the veteran YouTuber and veteran content creator, and my friend and loyal co-host and my buddy from Rizzle, for Nate the Great. My other good friend that surprisingly at his young age I've actually known for quite a long time. Makes me feel kind of old. And for me, Jeff S., the humbled co-host of the MCU'S Bleeding Edge YouTube channel and podcast. We are, of course, out of here.
Every day of the week. If I hop up on the mic, they gon' play it on repeat. Cash 100 milli check, I get paid just to breathe. Kill it 24/7, cause I slay in my sleep. Flames